Hello, and welcome all to episode 64 of the Spooky Horror Show podcast. I'm your host, Sean. I'm joined by Anthony. And as a reminder, this season's movies were chosen sight unseen, just box art.
Just thumbnail.
We're going to be judging whether the film is as good or bad as the box art made it seem, as well as whether or not we even like the film. Today, we'll be talking about 2022's Eradication. Before all that, remember, if you'd like to support us on YouTube, you can leave us a like, subscribe, comment. All of that helps with the algorithm and engagement. You can also follow and rate us on any and all podcast services, which helps us with visibility and charting. Links, as always, are in the description. With that out of the way, Anthony, take two. What has your week been like?
I got stitches. Cut myself on an engine. It was deep. Had to get the stitches. It sucked. Had a good week going. I had 1 week back from COVID. Just one. And now I'm possibly having to be out for, he said 10 days. 10 days, my ass. Fuck that shit. But he's saying supposedly. So I get to see the workman's comp doctor tomorrow and tell him, if I leave this on, can I go to work and do shit?
Can I go to work? Is there a special glove I can put on or wrap it and go to
something?
Work? My week has been backing up the media server, doing more planning for the Halloween horror short I'm filming with the kiddo, and possibly this Saturday going to a Shiba Inu festival and finding out where all these motherfuckers are getting their Shibas, because I want one. Production facts for Eradication. It is a 2022 pandemic zombie film directed by Daniel Byers and written by Byers and Harry Aspinwall. It tells the story of a world ravaged by a pandemic that wipes out most of the world's population, and a man who, because of his special blood, is kept in isolation to be studied. Fearing for his wife's safety, he breaks out of isolation to find her. Eradication stars Harry Aspinwall, Anita Abdin-Zahad, sorry if I butchered that name, and Christian Masters. From what I've been able to find, Eradication only had a budget of $5,000. So, based on the box art, Anthony, what were you expecting from the movie?
Honestly, I mean, the way it looked, it made it kind of, what the fuck? It made it kind of look like it was going to be more darker, or like, you know, like more looming and shit like that. Because it looks very, the thumbnail makes it look like there is going to be more of a sinister thing behind it. And it's not that sinister. It's just a normal zombie movie, really.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much it. It didn't disappoint, to me at least. It didn't disappoint. It just didn't cut the whole scarier than it was vibe.
I didn't find anything about this film scary, but when I saw the box, when you because this was your pick.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? Yeah, because I picked the next film in Insecticidal. When I saw the box art, I was just like, oh man, this gives me George Romero's The Crazies vibe. And I loved that movie. I saw, what's his name? Breck Eisner's remake first, and I really liked that too. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, all right, it has like the same feel. It invokes isolation and disease and like all this stuff. Then I found out the budget. And I knew that such a low budget meant no zombies.
No zombies.
Just like the large amount of like non-existent zombies in like the end.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, this is just what we're gonna get. So it's like I had to like suddenly temper my expectations for it. But it is what it is. What are you gonna do? During the opening production credit logo, we hear a man telling a woman that they need to go, but all we hear from her is choking and gurgling. Finally, we see a couple running through the woods. They're wearing gas masks, and the sound of drones chasing them in the distance is heard just looming. And I remember from before,
sounds scary.
It's scary as shit.
It's fucking weird.
And I think
tell me what sounds automated and without telling me what sounds automated. That sounds.
I like drones, especially in the woods, sound kind of bad, but I think, I don't think they would have been able to use it. It would have been cool if they used it, especially for shots. But FPV drones,
giant one?
The FPV drones, they're smaller and faster.
Oh, kind of like the one I gave you.
Remember
the one I traded you?
A little. It's actually a little bit smaller than that.
Wow.
And to use it, you have like the goggles.
Oh, I've seen that one. Oh, that's those. Called. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones are cool.
That would have been even more terrifying. But this, I feel like the one that they used was like a step up from like the one that I got. The woman just can't run anymore. Ripping off her mask, she begins puking up blood. The man tries to help her up, but she pushes him away and tells him to just go. And as he's running away, he hears her cries and gurgling just stop. And when he turns around, he gets a crossbow bolt right in the eye, killing him. Eventually, a person in a hazmat suit walks up on him and pulls the bolt out of his eye. And this is a very cool, spooky start to the film. During the new opening credits, we get drone shots of neighborhoods and the forest. It all looks really good until we start getting some really bad CG added towards the end, like a ton of extra fake drones flying around and the fake fire attached to the cars. All of this just did not look good.
Maybe they came back in and edited it.
Maybe like, we need to look more.
They pulled the Lucas.
Yeah.
They pulled the Lucas.
During all this B-roll of nature and neighborhoods descending into chaos, we get audio from a news report of this pandemic affecting the globe. No one knows where it came from and how cities are reacting to it. It's also now being told that cities are being left to their own devices to like figure out their own plans.
We're gonna give it back to the states. And they're gonna make them let do the choices. I gotta let the states make the choices.
It's very bigly.
It's very bigly. It's a lot of hoopla and a lot of surprises.
David is on a video call with his wife Sam, and besides joking about all the track marks he has from all the blood work he's having to do to himself, he seems fine and in great health. However, his wife seems to not be quite right and coughing just a little bit, which isn't a great sign when you're in the middle of a deadly pandemic.
Yeah.
Wherever they have him locked up is fucking gorgeous.
I know. I said the same thing. I was like, I would fucking love to live there.
Like, I just... The
in the woods,
you see,
it was a nice looking house.
It was a nice house. That top porch looking out into like the forest.
I'm
like,
dude, it's fucking nice,
shit, dude. Oh, I gotta
That's
fucking seclude myself there for the pandemic. Oh, it's so bad. Just shut the fuck up.
No, it isn't.
That's
I tell
amazing.
everybody, it just as long as there's internet, I don't even need gas. As long as I got some way to heat shit, I'm fine.
Yeah.
As long as there's internet, I don't give a fuck. I would live in that goddamn woods my whole life.
Yeah, no, that's why solar panels, baby. Solar panels and battery backup. He seems to be living a very regimented life. Waking up to all of those egg timers, and every time a timer goes off, having something he has to do and then reset the timers. That sounds fucking awful.
Yes.
2 years later, however, David is still doing the same old regiment, but it seems like his wife isn't like calling as much anymore. We hear old instructions for him told through like a voiceover that he's infected with the virus that's killing everybody, so he has to keep himself separated
and give them the blood to be analyzed for a cure.
Yeah, the virus doesn't seem to be affecting him the same way it's affecting everyone else, so because of this he has to keep a strict schedule to keep himself healthy, checking for any signs of infection, draw blood daily, and be tested by the CDC. To me, this doesn't make any sense. His wife is
because
supposed
CDC doesn't keep you all the way out there and like that. And if they wanted you to be treated, they would have you with a person there, like an official person.
So if she's a scientist working with the CDC,
I think she is a scientist, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she said that she's in Washington D.C. studying his body, his blood, to find a cure. If she's the one studying his blood to see if his blood is the cure, why wouldn't she just be there collecting the blood samples herself and just running the tests there? They clearly still have the internet.
Maybe she's not infected, can't be by him, which we can't find out later on is bullshit.
Yeah, but if he's not showing signs and she's not infected, then there should be no reason.
The plot is very holy. It's very much like Switch Cheese.
Because then it's like, they still have the internet and a secure connection, so why wouldn't she just be able to send her findings to them? If he has to keep himself isolated, people in isolation will eventually go crazy. It doesn't make any sense that you keep him there by himself without his spouse or anyone else to talk to. He's just there by himself all day, every day, until his wife calls him for like 5 minutes
and
just to check on the blood
same fucking thing.
Yeah,
there's
like
no deviation.
Nothing changes.
It's literally.
He's gonna 2 years of that. You're telling me after
I can't
2 years he didn't go crazy?
No.
The pandemic wasn't really that bad for us because we're still able to communicate with everyone. It's like we still talk.
Playing.
Me, you, Jay, we were all still playing games. We had the Discord server up, people jumping in, fucking doing whatever. This dude,
I think that was the one time I met more people over the internet during that time than I have in my adult life.
But now this dude, for 2 years, has been by himself.
There's nobody on the internet? You mean to tell me not like a single person in the whole world?
Well, it's like,
and he couldn't have figured that out with the internet that he had? Like, he couldn't have...
Well, remember, the computer only gets turned on when that egg timer goes off.
Oh,
because the generator. So there's limited power. So it's like, why aren't there solar powers? Especially with like a house that's in the woods. Why wouldn't you have solar panels there just in case. Like, what if a tree falls and knocks down a power pole and now you're without like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of like stupid things that I feel like the pandemic
Details
really
that could be
like,
changed.
showed. Yeah, but no, after 2 years his ass would have gone crazy talking to his wife for like 5 minutes a day for 2 years. And like I said in the beginning, some of this looked weird where it didn't seem like she had been calling as much.
Yeah.
Like he kept looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And like
And he
then it
started to
wouldn't
get
happen.
very apprehensive about it. That's why he would never. It was like, I gotta get to her before it's too late.
So after collecting his blood, he's monitored by drone as he brings it out into the forest, where he drops it in an oil drum, and he collects, well, an empty oil drum, and then he collects canned food. Then I'm assuming people will eventually come up, go to collect it, and resupply the drum with like canned food and stuff. Arriving back at home, he has to disinfect himself before going inside and going about the rest of his daily tasks. His wife, in a voiceover, tells him that it's so hard to be so far away from him, but that at this point they just don't have a choice. And that again just doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make sense at all. It seems like more of a budgetary constraint. If you at least specified somewhere that at the beginning of the pandemic she wasn't even home, she was called into work to work on a cure, then sure. But for now, it just seems like, well, it's the pandemic. We want to, you know, keep as the crew as light as possible and all that. But, it's like, but yeah, they never do that. And somehow she knew he was infected, but not affected by the virus.
Well, yeah.
How? How does she know?
She's a crazy scientist lady.
I guess.
I guess.
His wife's voiceover ends with her saying that she'll call him every night and also to never go outside at night. From the way David's acting, it does seem like she hasn't called in a very long time. Meanwhile, someone is in a busted up hazmat suit and they are standing outside of his house. Seems to be like keeping an eye on him from the woods. Another morning, same set of tests and routines. To keep himself from going stir crazy, he is slowly making his way through the telephone book, calling every number to see if anyone
picks up.
And
See what I'm saying? Like, well, I
there's
couldn't have done that on the internet, but yeah, he didn't want to run the battery on.
After making it about a quarter of the way through the phone book, getting nothing but dead disconnected tones, he finally connects to someone's answering machine. He looks like he's about to freaking cry when that damn fucking egg timer goes off and he has to go deliver some fucking blood. Back at home, he works on an anniversary gift. Another timer goes off and it's time to work on the generator. That night, someone calls him back on the yellow phone and he answers, and the unknown caller asks who this is. Surprised to be hearing another human's voice that isn't his wife, leaves him kind of like shook,
stunned,
and he doesn't really answer. And then
doesn't understand.
He's saved by the egg timer as one of them starts to go off and he rushes out of the room. Apparently that's the egg timer that says it's time for a video call with the wife. But before he answers the call, he has to run into the dining room and grab that anniversary gift. And when he gets to the computer, the call is ended. He missed his opportunity to talk with his wife. Here's another confusing point. At this point, the computer is still on. The call was ended.
Yeah, and then this is where that starts getting good.
Here's another confusing point. How come he can't initiate the calls? How come it always has to be her initiating the calls? That doesn't make sense.
You would think that if she called him, they'd be a way for him to like return the call.
You know that
There's
she's
a lot
right
of plot
there.
holes.
She just called and then hung up as he got there. So why can't he just hit the button and start the call again? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Poking holes.
Still sitting at the terminal, he hears one of the egg timers go off, which is confusing because, you know, at the time of day that it is, he should be asleep. He should be asleep, so none of the egg timers should be going off. He finds the timer on the floor in the hallway. Picking it up, he stops it and looks around. The egg timer shouldn't be there, so who put it there? He sees his wife at the end of the hall disappear into a room. He follows her in there. Turns out this was all just a dream. When he wakes up in the morning, he sees that the video call has been initiated. Sam notices David noticing her, and she quickly ends the call. Why did she quickly end the call?
Yup.
Like, that's weird. That's fucking weird.
So were you watching me sleep?
Yeah.
Like,
the whole time
were
he's
you
like,
could have yelled out and said, "Hey, bro, you having a nightmare? Help you out? Wake me up."
Honey,
no?
wake up.
Let me
and then when you finally wake up and go, huh? What? It's like, and you quickly turn it off.
Like,
it's fucking it's so dumb. He's starting to seem a little bit more run down. He could just be tired from sleeping in a fucking uncomfortable chair the entire night.
Oh, I would think someone would be all run down and shit from that.
It's now morning time, so it's time to drain some blood and drop it off and pick up some food. However, things are a little different now. See, he's a vegetarian, and when he goes to drop off his blood and collect his food, it's all meat-based food.
Meat. Yeah.
Annoyed, he tells the drone watching him that he can't eat what they gave him. So until they give him vegetarian food,
No
they
more
don't
blood
get
for you.
blood. Hey, buddy,
Back in the line. No blood for you.
it's an end of the world pandemic.
I'm a vegan, and I've been a vegan for years. I'm sorry, all y'all. I'm
meat.
realistic. If the apocalypse happens and I have no way of figuring out how to fucking eat some goddamn plants, something's gonna have to be eaten at least once a month. Like, listen, the world's gonna dry up of all the vegan shit you could possibly fucking eat. You're gonna have to figure something out.
Yep.
Because unfortunately, people, we don't go out to the woods and find a piece of bark and eat that like you think us vegans do. That would be easier.
Just eat the grass.
Just eat grass.
Yeah.
I have salad. Salad is when you offer a vegan a salad, you scumbags. When you offer a vegan a salad, it is the equivalent of saying you can go just eat some grass outside. That is the equivalent to that.
I mean, salads are good. It's especially.
I'm not a salad person. It has to be made a certain way.
As
and
a
stolen
vegan,
from Pathmark. It has to be stolen from Pathmark.
As a
with
vegan,
that Caesar dressing.
The salad should be like a cornerstone of your fucking diet. There's so much vitamins and minerals in it.
My
as
wife
opposed to
had
all
me
the processed
vegetables. You think I fucking ate vegetables? You think my parents had vegetables?
Then you're a terrible vegan.
I had Sarah Lee fucking TV dinners and kid cuisines growing up. You think I don't even understand how I don't have fucking giant like fucking tumors and shit.
Yeah, but you're an adult now.
Yeah, like, now I eat that. I eat that stuff, but I don't eat certain things. Like I don't eat broccoli. Broccoli's fucking like cauliflower. What the fuck is that thing?
Well, cauliflower I don't like. Broccoli's good when it's roasted. I only like kale when it's roasted. I was just like watching him get angry about not having a vegan option. I was like, bro, like stop it. You eat what's left or die. Those are your choices.
I mean,
if you're that,
where's he getting his B12 from?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like if you're that
that guy,
then just die. Then just die, because you're not gonna find. You're gonna go hunting for berries in the woods. You're gonna go pick up that mushroom that's actually a poisonous mushroom.
One fucking I'm telling you, man. I watch a lot of stuff on mushrooms and what you can. And let me tell you, you're like one bite away of mixing up one of the two and out.
Yep.
That or you will be paralyzed.
There's nothing like not having enough nutrients, like being fed to you, and then scavenging something and giving yourself diarrhea, and then losing all the nutrients that you
anything you have inside of you. Yeah, you're now fucking shitting out just straight blood and colon because there's nothing in your digestive tract.
Yep.
Have massive heartburn and shit like that from you. The just acid coming up because there's nothing in your stomach.
Yep.
We digress.
While chopping wood, he notices the drone flying overhead and quickly runs into his house. He covers up all the blinds. When he starts to hear the computer trying to call him, he runs downstairs. It's his wife. She does not seem right at all. She tells him that he has to stop. Yeah, but she tells him you have to stop messing around. He has to drop off the blood. There can't be any disruption to the line of clean blood.
How do you know?
It's too
how
important.
do you know that's happening? How does she know that he is disrupting anything? How does she not know he's not doing it already?
Yeah,
that bitch is close.
It's none of this seems right. And then when she goes, "I need you to draw more blood in front of me,"
which is not always. Oh, that I don't understand.
It's like, why wouldn't that bag of blood
show
that I already drew? Why do I?
No. Like, back it up to the whole entire draw it in front of me thing. Why do I have to do it in front of you?
Yeah. Like it's
like, do you think I'm going off and stealing somebody's fucking blood during a fucking pandemic and shit? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's already
and the
stuff
needles,
right.
like it's like the needles weren't clean. Oh,
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Forever unclean.
Asking if she's all right, she tells him that the rules are in place to keep him safe and that he has to stay isolated. Something's not right with any of this. The fact that nothing is lit up. Everything behind her is black and looks like a camping tarp type material. It
looks like something they shot Bin Laden videos from.
This does not seem like a CDC type operation.
Anything. Not even a tent. Red Cross has better tents than that.
It does kind of feel like she was possibly like captured or something.
That's what I was saying. I thought it was like she got captured and forced into this. But then what's the fucking her other person's motive? Like you're doing some rich person thing where you're siphoning out your fucking blood for fresh blood.
Keeping myself young.
I
David
need the
calls that number
children
back.
blood.
David calls that number back and talks to the man on the phone, asking how he survived. The dude's name is Todd. He says, I think he said he was from Atlanta. It was supposed to be safe, like a safe spot, but then things fell apart. Drones came in, and everyone thought they were going to be there to keep them safe, but they started killing all the infected and gassing everyone. He was lucky enough to have a rebreather from doing work in construction, where he put up, I think he said insulation. That's why he had the rebreather. So he was safe from the gas, and he made his way to whatever town David is currently in. Todd tells David that he hasn't had anything to eat in a while, and that if he has any food, he can work it off. He's a good worker. But David tells him not to come to him, that he's infected. And this is where you get that bum 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 thing. Todd asks, are you sure you're infected?
Sure you're infected?
Have you been tested? And I'm like, how does he, if his wife is in DC,
So how do you know you're infected?
How does he specifically know that he's infected?
Did she mail it? Did she drone him in a fucking Amazon drone fucking
Like,
pregnancy test for your blood? No.
Because like he has no idea about these tests. Todd tells him that the eradication control people sent out like home testing kits towards the end of everything, and he could probably find one at the neighbor's house just to be sure. So has David ever been tested? Because he doesn't know about these. Or is he simply going off the word of his wife that he
Which is clearly not going good
since the beginning of this whole thing?
Where was she at?
Yeah.
Where's her loyalties lie?
Like, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those where it's like, this seems like all cool ideas, but if you sit there and you actually read it and look at it with a critical eye, you're like, well, why are things like this?
Looking at it through a critical lens. No, you're right. So like, if you did look through it as a critical lens, it has like from beginning to end a lot of flaws. Like you went in specifically just with an idea of just random things. Like you didn't stop to think, well, I have an idea. Well, is it practical? I have an idea. We're gonna go to the next one. I have another idea. Okay, well, how is that gonna work? That's not even real. Like in real life, how would that? No. We'll come back to that. Next idea, and they just kept going with it.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, dude, you guys have great ideas. Just take 2 seconds.
Flesh
It's
it
like
out a little
me.
bit.
It's like me. Calm the fuck down, slow the world, and try again.
You mean like when you send me text messages that are like
Don't make any sense.
part 3 of a conversation that we've never had, but you've been having. So then I have to tell you, dude, I need context for what the fuck you're talking about.
And then I get angry about it. I'm like, there is context. What are you talking about? I told you about this 2 days ago. And you'll
it's like,
pull it up.
nope.
Like, you never told me about that. Well, I said it in my head.
Yeah. It's like, what are you, my wife?
I fucking said it in my head. We had a conversation up here somewhere.
Yeah. That's why I'm mad at you. The next day, David heads out to what I'm assuming is probably his closest neighbor to wherever he is, just so he can find one of those home test kits. This neighbor's house, I think, is on a lake or it's on a swamp. I can't really tell because the water at first only seems like it's up to his ankles, but then it changes later. So we'll get into that.
Yeah, it gets deeper. It gets deeper the further out, like a lake.
No. The whole time he's walking to the lake, it's like ankle high, maybe up to his shins. But then when he's
but once
leaving,
he gets to the encounter, it's
deeper.
deeper.
All of a sudden it's up higher. But it's like if
maybe
you've been
time.
walking, that's why I'm like, is it a lake? Is it a swamp? Like, what is this place? Is he walking out into the lake instead of like, it's like, I don't know. But this neighbor has a house, I think, on the lake, and while rummaging around, he comes across one of those home test kits. Instead of taking the test home and taking it, he decides to just poke his finger right then and there in this dirty ass environment.
Dude, there is so much hygienic shit wrong in this that pissed me off. I'm like, you don't worry about the fucking virus. You're already gonna get a fucking staph, MRSA, fucking everything under the sun. I crack mark. You see the
Everything
fucking
is gross.
arm?
Everything is gross. He then checks the box to find out that the test is going to take about an hour to produce results. He hears someone entering the house downstairs, and you can clearly hear someone trying to slowly creep around the house. But he ignores it, leaving the house and walking deeper into the water, like I just said. Now it's like waist high,
Why would you do that as well?
He hears a noise, and this is where I got really fucking angry. So he hears a noise, and he turns around to check his surroundings and doesn't see anything.
And then out of nowhere,
he walks a little bit more, and then the framing gets wider, and there's someone standing right behind him.
like how though?
I don't
Like,
even
how would that
remotely
work like
understand
that?
how you were able
Why
to
wouldn't
turn
you
around
not
and not see
hear-
this guy.
Yeah, or not hear the sloshing through the water.
Yeah.
Any kind
How?
of movement. Those suits are actually pretty fucking loud because I've had to be in them a lot when I was
Yeah.
on Hashtag, and the swooshing that it's very loud.
All the other things, like the little grievances that I have, I'm like, all right, whatever. But shit like that, and it happens
It
again,
bothers.
bothers the shit out of me. At least have him turn around, have no one there, and then when he turns back around, have the zombie come up slowly out of the water. Because then it's a cool
Yeah.
shot, and it's like, oh, that's why he didn't see it. Instead, the zombie's just standing there. He walks a couple of more steps, and then I'm gonna have to fix this when I do it. But then it goes, the lens goes, what? And all of a sudden, the thing's there. And I'm like, that's not how it works.
How it works in their fucking head.
Yeah. So I was just like, this just doesn't make sense. It's fucking stupid, and it ends up happening again. It chases after him, but David trips and falls into the water, dropping his bag as the zombie continues to get closer to him. Hazmat suit guy shoots the zombo in the chest with a bolt, while David quickly crawls really far away from his bag, which to me, again, doesn't make sense. Grab your bag
Well,
and then run away.
I think it only has the blood in it though.
Yeah, but you need that.
He has blood.
No. It has his test.
Oh yes, no, yeah, you're right. But the test is fucking void now. If anything, it with the water on it in a factual way, not in the movie. Not in the movie. So
Yeah. I just, again, this is another one of those, I feel like David is just constantly making dumb decisions. He shouldn't have even dropped the bag to begin with. It should have been properly secured to his back.
that's what I was just.
Why-
I was like, why doesn't he have it like a backpack? That's just the
Why,
fucking
yeah,
name.
why is he one
It's implied in the name.
But why is he
It's not a mail
one-strapping it?
carrier.
Just
You're not a mail
two-strap it.
carrier. Not a USPS.
Yeah, it's
Put it on your back.
It's just,
There was a
like,
time and point where I never left the house without a backpack. Like, you know the gym sports that can get nice and
Hell
thin
yeah.
on you? I never left the house. I thought that had to be my wardrobe. From like about 16 to like early 20s. Early 20s. You'd always see me waiting for a bus or whatever with a fucking backpack. Sometimes there's just like one thing in it. I just had to have a backpack. What if you bought a shirt? What if you needed to do something?
I now,
See, it's right there.
this is
Always
my,
have a backpack.
This is my quote-unquote go bag. It's a samurai tactical bag.
Oh,
It
that's
has-
the one with the camel
Yeah,
pack.
it has the waterproof inside.
Lining?
I use for like cameras and shit whenever I like go out places. During weather events, I have stuff that goes right into it. On the shoulder part, I have a camera hookup, so I could just hook up a camera right to it, and like this usually goes everywhere with me. And if not that, I have a chest sling bag that's big enough to
I love
hold,
those ones.
it's big enough to hold the Steam Deck and the battery charger and my phone,
Yeah,
wallet, and keys. But it's also not
If it's like
fucking gigantic.
mine, it's like a
little-
kidney size, like this thing.
Yeah.
We have the same one, a Gen Sport one of those, dude. That's our go-to when we want to go out places.
Yeah.
Like shopping
So
with
it's like,
like swap meets and stuff. It's like a
Yeah.
Hermione's bag. It just keeps getting. It can fit a shit ton of stuff in it.
So as the hazmat dude is reloading his crossbow, David grabs his bag, finally two-strapping it, and runs into the woods as the zombie is permanently put down. Now, I would also say David is not doing a good job of making sure that he's not being followed, but we, the viewer, already know that the dude in the hazmat suit knows where he lives. So I guess it doesn't really matter. So I'll just drop it. Back at his house, David has gone back to his routine, but looks way more agitated now, especially since this drone is just consistently flying overhead.
Well,
and it
now,
seems
now
like-
it's just following him.
yeah, and it's also like now it just seems like the egg timers are constantly fucking going off all the time.
They were doing that in the first place. He had like every half hour a fucking thing to do.
Yeah, But at least it was kind of like one egg timer was going off, and then he would walk and do something, and then go back, set the timer to what it needs to be, and then eventually another one would go off. Like, he has it set for like the different times that stuff has to happen. Now it just seems like it's constantly going off. There's no break in between. It's just one right after the other after the other.
Bombardment.
He's now hallucinating that his wife is home and going through all the normal homebody things. I'm assuming a couple of days have gone by at this point, and the test only takes about 60 minutes. Did he ever check the test?
Yeah,
Like,
he does. He checks it.
eventually, but it seems like
Yeah.
a couple of days has gone by, and he never checked the test. It wasn't until this like mental breakdown where
Yeah.
the ghost of his wife is yelling at him and calling him a failure and a coward and blah blah blah, and he tells it to shut up, slamming his fist down on the table, and his bag falls over. The test comes rolling out, and he's like, oh yeah, I had this. And it turns out
Dun,
he's
dun, dun.
not infected, and his wife has been lying to him. During this call with his wife, she scolds him for going out after sundown, even though it wasn't sundown. The sun was up and still shining. She also makes him promise that he won't go outside anymore because they're so close to a breakthrough to find a cure for him and a vaccine for everyone else. How did she know that he got outside?
Same way she fucking knew that he would not do it, sticking to the regiment
Yep.
earlier on.
He asks her again, point blank, are you sure I'm infected? And with her lying to him again, this time he knows that she's lying. So he grabs a map, packs up some supplies, and sneaks out of the house, losing the drone in the process. Hiking through the woods of what I now know is the Adirondacks. The only reason I know that now is because when he grabbed the map, it said Adirondacks. So that's the only reason we have any idea where the fuck any of this takes place. He comes across a small little camp and finds something covered by a rag. Pulling off the rag, he discovers a gas mask survivor that has a crossbow bolt lodged in their eye socket. He makes his way closer to the camp, but runs back into hiding at the sound of the approaching drone. As it lands on a drum, the man in the yellow hazmat suit appears. Turns out the drone belongs to the hazmat guy, and David just continues hiding, keeping an eye on the dude until they disappear into the tent. At this point, David grows a pair and sneaks up to the campsite, where he swings back the curtain and he finds his wife infusing herself with his blood.
Dun.
She begins freaking out, and he's trying to comfort her, telling her, don't worry, I'm not infected.
And
She
he
responds,
doesn't
"I am."
understand yet. Yeah, he does not understand yet.
She is holding a bag of your blood,
Like,
with a needle
she's not a
in
vampire.
her arm.
You think she's a vampire now, bro? Like,
What is going
Twilight
on?
happened. You're gonna start
I-
shimmering in the light. What the fuck do you think is going on?
I know you're excited to see your wife. How fucking stupid are you that the first thing you say isn't, what the fuck are you
What the
injecting
fuck are
into
you
yourself?"
doing? Oh, yeah. What the fuck are you doing? Like, what exactly is? What is
So-
this?
But yeah, I knew that there was something going on. I wasn't quite sure what, but I knew something was off. So again, if she's infected and his pure blood keeps the infection at bay, why the fuck wouldn't you just stay in the house? It doesn't seem to make any sense that
Wouldn't you
would
want
go
to make sure
through-
that yeah, you would always make sure that person's blood is safe at
Yeah.
all times.
Well, like,
You
why
would
would
be
you?
bringing him food and anything that he wants because you need him.
Yeah, but it's like you're jumping through all these fucking hoops to access his blood. It's fucking dumb. Just, you're there. Be like, hey, just to be safe, I'm gonna lock myself in this room when I'm feeling kind of not right, and you just leave it at that. Instead, you're like, I'm gonna lie and say I'm in Washington, but I'm gonna live in the woods and kind of be feral. Like, it's so dumb.
And kind of be feral.
But also, like I explained, he walks in on her in the process of trying to infuse his blood into her veins, and he never questions it. It's never anything that he brings up. He brings her back to their house. They talk about what's going on, and she explains that she trusted bad people. I think they called it the Eradication Division. I don't even fucking remember. They were, in fact, looking for a cure, but things went south really fast, and then they just started killing everyone that was infected. She tells him that she's been keeping him safe with a deal she made with those people, but they have to keep following the rules, so he has to let her go, and he needs to keep delivering blood. But he quickly spikes her finger with one of those blood test things. I didn't know he took multiple, or that it could be used multiple times,
Or that it
whatever.
came more than one.
I don't know if like he got the results back faster, or if there was like an hour time jump. I don't remember. It's been a couple of weeks since I've seen the film. Turns out she is in fact infected. No shit, she's injecting herself with blood.
You said
We're
that.
Not, we're not fucking dumb.
Get into it.
Yeah, but it's like she kept saying that he was infected and he's
Denial.
not infected, so it's like maybe she's not infected too. It's still fucking stupid. But yeah, no shit, you're infected. Didn't really need to check her. The fact that she's been living in the woods for like 2 years, or the fact that she looks awful, or even the glaring fact that she was trying to inject your blood into her body could have given away
No, those
that
are
she's
minor
infected, but it
details.
doesn't.
Minor details. What are you talking
He doesn't have any more food in the house, so he decides to keep her locked up in the computer storage closet thing and go out searching for some food. He makes it back to her camp where he finds her laptop open with videos of all of their communications. While watching some of these videos,
thickens.
he ends up finding out that other people do in fact need his blood, and that she wasn't lying about making a deal that if they don't kill her, she'll get him to cooperate and supply them with blood. She gets to keep some of the blood so that she can stay alive and stay human, but the rest goes to them. He checks one of the last videos and it shows that his blood isn't enough, or maybe because he's been withholding it for his vegetarian food, it's just not working as much. She puts her hand in the sunlight and it begins to burn.
Which I didn't know. That's not a zombie.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
So it's like they call it a zombie apocalypse movie type deal, but the video ends up turning itself off and connects to a call with the Eradication to people, and then the drone turns on. How does he not hear this drone? It's right next to you. It's outside of a fucking tarp.
It's loud. They're all loud. I have never heard one that's ever been that quiet to not notice an unnatural sound in the woods.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
It's so dumb. On the computer, the caller tells him that the deal is off and the drone begins to spray gas, the same gas that was used to kill all those other people. Choking as he realizes he has a gas mask, and finally puts it on and runs out of the tent just to be able to get one shot off at the drone. I don't think he hits it. He reloads, the drone takes off,
He does.
and then he begins running through the woods
Like an idiot.
and makes his way to a cliff. And not just to a cliff, but an open cliff face. No trees
Nowhere.
in front of him.
Nothing. It's just completely decimated.
He stands entirely too close to the edge of that cliff when a much larger drone comes out of nowhere, and as he tries to shoot it, it flies towards him, slicing his hand open, causing him to fall over the edge. How did these physics work? How do they work? One, you didn't hear a giant drone coming up directly
It's not
in
like
front of you.
like for people to understand, it's not a large drone. Like large drones, we're not talking about like this or like this. It was like one of those
It was a big
fuckers.
one.
It was a
Yeah,
big
it has like
fucker.
this stainless steel carbon fiber
Yeah.
legs that it has to land on and shit.
Yeah, like it's just a miniature helicopter. So like you don't hear that.
That motherfucker is gonna sound like one of those mini dirt bikes. Like that's
Oh,
that shit's gonna
perfect.
sound like.
There you go. Perfect example. Yes, it's gonna
no.
you know.
And then it flies towards you from the cliff face towards you. How do you go boom? Cut hand. Oh, I'm falling forward. It just doesn't make sense. If anything, you would fall backwards and land on your back, and then you can get up and. So it's whatever. But
Maybe he was doing like the Cowboys. You know, they go over the railing. You know.
Yeah. But
Maybe
then
he was
we
doing
get
that.
like another unbelievable thing. He falls from a height that probably should have killed him.
And then stayed alive. I said the same thing. I was like, I don't think anybody could live through that. Even in a movie, that's kind of far-fetched.
Nope.
Yeah, I said the same exact thing.
He falls, tumbles a whole bunch on the ground, and ends up stopping only because he gets impaled by something. You're not surviving that, my guy. It's not happening. He slowly picks himself up and starts moving again. He's making a lot of mistakes, like a crazy amount at this point.
Well,
Why would you
he's
go
under
to
a
a
lot
big
of
open
stress.
area? That just doesn't make sense. You know the drone is following you. It would have been harder, because you know the drone is following you, it would have been harder for the drone to keep up with you if you stayed in the woods, because then it has
With
to
all
like
the
try to
trees.
dodge around all the trees
Yeah.
and stuff.
A natural camouflage.
Why are you going to the edge of this cliff when you know that they're hunting you? There's still the possibility you're going to fall off and get hurt. Then you can't get back to your wife.
The whole
Why
purpose
is he
of this.
walking around with the lantern turned on when it's clearly daytime? Why? It's just none of this makes
Ain't
sense.
nobody want to know your truths, okay? Like I
There's
said,
no-
like I said, they probably had this scene in mind, okay? And it was like, oh, it'd be cool if you fallen off the cliff and be dramatic and, like, yeah. And then they just didn't sit down and figure out how to write it in. They just said, we're just gonna go right into this fucker. Just woods, cliff. Like,
because like, it would be cool. Like that drone, the bigger drone. That's a drone that's made to carry like cinema cameras. To get, like, those
it can
shots.
do like 100 pounds, I think, or something like that. It can do an insane amount.
So now, I don't know what camera they were using, but it's definitely a camera that can go on that drone. They probably had at least two, because I think there was a shot far enough away when the drone went flying, so it would have been like two drones off.
Hey, not too much.
The thing.
Dipping into that $5,000 budget.
But it would have been cooler if it was shot at night, or at least while it's darker out. You get him a brighter lantern and just have like the darkness of the woods, and he's only being illuminated by
ominous.
that would have been such a cool shot. Instead, we get broad fucking daylight, like the Gracefield incident, where you're trying to tell me I'm a fucking idiot, and it's actually nighttime when you just pointed the camera up at the sky and I could see the fucking sun.
At the fucking sun.
no, just a little extra time, and the entire film could have been so much better if it's like
proper
just
editing.
these little tweaks. That's all it needs. There is about 20 minutes left of this film, and
oh my god, I thought we were already at the end.
No, there's 20 minutes left.
Oh yeah, he falls off the cliff and survives. Yes, we're on the inevitable part of he is Superman. He is an immortal. He's an immortal.
He's trying to get back to his wife, who he knows is turning. Plus, he's cut all over the place, bleeding from everywhere, and he's still trying to make it back to the woman he loves. But that woman's turning into a thing that he knows is going to want to eat him the second he walks in that door. The sun is out, the birds are chirping, and David has finally made his way back home. He finds the door wide open, and inside, there's no sign of his wife. Finding some dirty-ass rags, he pulls out whatever impaled him in the back and puts the dirty-ass rags in the hole in his back. Because that's not going to cause an infection.
That's what you do. Fuck the apocalypse. Let's die this way.
Oh god, dying. Could you imagine surviving for so long in like
and then dying from staph,
from an infection, going out the
sepsis.
Same way fucking Dean Winchester, spoilers, Dean Winchester in Supernatural finally died. He died from an infection from a nail.
I want to say me and her watched that episode. I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, it was the last episode.
There's no spoilers at this point. I mean, how behind can you be?
Yeah. Fucking got a nail in the back, and it's a god. No, I'm dying. I'm dead. Come on, man. He finds that the computer is still on, and the webcam is now. His webcam is turned on, but nothing is turned on on the other side. I like that when he sees that the webcam is turned on, he doesn't say anything. He just kind of like looks.
He stares at it for a little while.
He's like, you know what? And he just walks over and closes it. He's like,
yep,
nah, I'm good.
I know it's not her, so.
Just as he closes the laptop, he hears something break in one of the other rooms. He leaves to go check it out, finding a broken egg timer, exactly where he saw it in his dream. He heads towards the same room he was having the hallucinations of his wife walk into earlier.
Guess what? Dun, dun, dun.
I'm going to try very hard not to get punchy. But I cannot promise that I won't get fucking punchy. All this stuff that I have complained about like the little nitpicky things, this one made me want to put my fucking fist through my monitor. This one aggravated me to no end.
Lay it on him.
As he heads into the room with the lantern in his hand, who does he see when he enters that room? No one. The room is empty. This motherfucker looks for shit and has the same fucking eyesight as my wife and kid. You are shining this lantern into the room that you entered, yet somehow your zombie wife doesn't appear directly behind you until you turn around to leave and walk out? She would have been directly in front of him when he walked into the fucking room.
Yeah. Don't die on us now because of it.
I'm so angry that my throat is getting all fucking
seething up on you.
Oh, it makes me so fucking angry. So fucking angry. So how are you not seeing any of the two zombies that you've come across? How have you not seen any of them when they're directly in front of you and behind you. It just doesn't make sense. He finally feels her presence, and hearing the gross sounds the zombies apparently make when they're moving their mouths, he freezes in place. And she kind of
this dude, like, he tenses up way too fucking quick and easily in an apocalypse.
It's like, it's one thing for it to be an apocalypse. It's another thing to be a zombie apocalypse. There is no freezing.
Yeah. Touche, actually. No matter slow or fast, you really got to keep moving at some point.
Yeah. And we'll see that these are fucking fast. But yeah, he freezes in place as she kind of comes up behind him and hugs him. Not really attacking him. It seems like she's smelling him and stuff like that. You know, it's probably because he's still covered in blood. When the broken egg timer that he's still holding for some reason goes off in his hand and scares her, making her back up against the wall. Now, this is where I won't be punchy. I was not a fan of the look of the zombies when he was being chased in the water. But the way his wife looks is in the shadows when she's like kind of hugging him, you can see her skin is now kind of pale white and her eyes kind of look frosted over. That's cool.
That's you're supposed to kind of do that. Like, why would your eyes stay?
But when she gets scared and backs up against the wall and she has like this silver like glint in her eye, that looks so fucking cool.
Like the beast inside of her.
Yeah, it's like it's all dark, and all you can really see is like a slight outline of her face, but you can see silver like
a cat's eyes.
It looks so fucking cool. We should have had more of that. Instead, we get like a little blurb of it, and it's like, that's fucking sucks. She eventually wakes up from her scared stupor and chases David through the house. He runs upstairs with her right on his heels and swings the blinds open, causing her to retreat and hide from the light around a corner. Good thing he watched the last video that shows how sunlight hurts people that are infected. He tries to reason with her, which is stupid. All the while, sounds of drones are flying around outside the house. Yeah, she's clearly a zombie. Like, she's not a human anymore. She is a zombie. Full stop. Just deal with it like she's a fucking zombie. He's telling her that he can give her his blood and things can go back to the way they were. And I'm just sitting here this whole time like, no, they can't, dude.
No, they can't, dude.
Things will never be the same. That's not how this works.
Once somebody's gotten a chunk of their arm eaten off, eaten, whatever, I'm pretty sure you're not reanimating that arm back.
Regardless, he's going to try to draw some blood. So he walks towards his
phlebotomy.
I keep trying to say it.
No, phlebotomy.
I know how to say it, but I'm stuffy from the allergies. So
dude,
it keeps like sounding in my head and like getting caught. So he walks over towards his phlebotomy kit, and all I'm thinking is, shouldn't he have opened the shade more? Like, it's the middle of the day, the sun is shining.
And it would protect him if he did.
Open it all the way. You could just walk over, grab the thing, and then give her the blood. Instead, like, you keep it like barely open, and you're like trying to like sneak towards her and shit, making sure you're not getting hit. And then he decides, you know what? I'll take this gross ass bloody rag out of my wound and just throw it down the hall, and she chases after it. He manages to grab the blood kit, but he can't stop shaking to actually draw the blood. She starts she comes running up, and she's just standing there like chomping at the bit, but also whimpering like a dog, which was really sad and really gross. Like, I didn't like any of that, like that whining sound. I didn't like any of that. He does not get the needle in right away. Not even remotely. For someone that's been doing this every single day for 2 years.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it. For someone that's been stabbing themselves, you would figure you would have hit something the first time at all.
Yeah. But nope, he fucks it up and blood spurts everywhere, making her go even crazier. But of course, just as this happens, the sun decides to go behind the clouds. When this happens, it gets dark, and she pounces as he makes a beeline to get outside.
And she was waiting there. She's like,
outside, she tackles him to the ground. He's holding her at bay, though. She stops fighting. He's able to sit up and just hug her. She's still a zombie.
100%.
She should be trying to bite him. But at this point, I'm thinking, all right, maybe he's just like, if you're going to turn, I'm going to turn. That's when she bites him, And apparently, yes, uninfected blood does actually revert zombies back into not being zombies.
If you didn't know that, people.
But now, she reverts back to a normal person. This can go
He
one of
turned.
two ways.
And he
This-
should
this
be
can-
turning.
Yeah, this can go one of two ways. Either she, realizing that she bit him and infected the love of her life,
And
can't live with
it?
herself anymore and walks out into the sun to die. Or, which I think is the more realistic thing, because she kind of seems like a I'm in this for me type of person. Her source of
I guess
clean
so.
blood is now gone, and she's gonna
Oh, yeah,
turn,
he's not
and she'd
clean.
rather be dead. Because like when she walks out into the sun, like he's trying to talk to her and she's just like nah, and she doesn't say I love you or anything. She just walks out and dies. But him, in the middle of this bite wound, a stab wound, falling down from the fucking thing, all sorts of shit, he still crawls his way over there to hold her hand as she dies.
Fuck that. I'm sorry. When a bitch bites me, I'm done. I'm good. If I didn't want it and all.
While he's holding her hand, a whole bunch of drones begin to circle the house. So he gets up and walks back inside, grabbing a cloth for his wound. I'm pretty sure it was still a dirty cloth. He tries to eat some canned corn and spits it out because it now tastes like dog shit, because he realizes he's
turned.
infected. Yeah.
Was doing
He-
fine until, see, I'm sorry. I would have cut it loose a long time ago. I would be like, dude, just go on about your life. If we ever meet each other again, maybe we'll fuck. We'll get some dirty fuck going on, some stank, and that's it. It's apocalypse.
Are they able to tell how long stuff has been, like, if you draw blood, can they tell how long after blood was drawn?
I don't know. Phlebotomy is a very different course than the medical stuff I had to do.
Yeah.
I mean, properly stored, I'm pretty sure, yeah, but like them, it's not
Yeah.
gonna last long.
Because I was like, why wouldn't you, like, build up more of a supply of blood?
Stop using the logic that God
I know,
not
I know,
God,
I'm
but
sorry,
that,
I'm
that,
sorry.
that the world gave you, Sean.
I know.
It's not as simple as you would think, even though it is as simple as you would think.
David decides to go back to her camp and drink what little is left of his blood. At this point, I just
Which
don't
is
understand
weird. You
why
can't
he's
just-
trying.
You can't really ingest your blood like that. You get sick.
I mean, as a zombie,
Oh, I guess it wouldn't matter.
maybe, yeah. I just don't understand why he's even bothering to stay
Bothering?
alive. You're essentially now all alone. It's just your blood
Yeah.
that was keeping a bunch of people from not turning, but now you
And
don't
now
have
it's
clean
gone.
blood. You know, so it's like, I don't fucking know. But he ends up digging a grave for his wife. He's starting to turn more and more as the sun is coming overhead, and he decides,
And that means you die.
yeah, he decides he dug enough and climbs into he puts her in the hole, and then he just climbs on top of her and starts burning as the sun comes overhead. And as he's dying and turning, the what's it called?
Drone?
The drones begin to, like, the really large drones begin to circle and descend on him. Cut back to David's house. Todd arrives and is walking through
Odd.
the empty home and finds a bunch of food left stacked on the table. He thanks David. So I'm assuming that David called him and was like, hey, I'm not going to be here anymore. There's some food here. Enjoy.
Yeah.
So that's probably why he was drinking the blood. Get that set up so that someone else is safe, dig the grave for his wife, and then just die.
And then just die.
As he's grabbing food, he hears the egg timer go off. Investigating, he finds the timer, and when he turns it off, the computer turns on, and it's a video call with David. But David isn't David. Now, David is Dr. Chambers. He gives Todd the whole spiel that David is safe. They found a treatment so that he could be with his wife. But the last generation tests were flawed, and that people are asymptomatic carriers. So he's safe now, but he'll need to draw blood for testing for a cure. So now David is basically taking over the role of his wife to collect blood from the guy to keep himself alive and give the rest of the
Alive,
Eradication department people blood so that they can stay alive. And that's the
And
end of
keeping the
Eradication.
cycle going.
They don't have running water, so I don't know. I don't understand how that would stop.
What would stop? Running
Like
water?
running water. Did
Because
someone
there are
turn off
actual
the
water
water?
plants?
Yeah,
there
but
are actual
they-
water plants.
Yeah, but no one goes, let's turn it off. Let's turn it off for the night. We'll turn it on in the morning.
All of these apocalypse things make no sense. Like when the power is still on, you mean to tell me no one on the panic to run out and click that off and say, we're not going to let them get free electric. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or a disaster didn't come.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. That's the end. What do you think? What are your final thoughts? on
I
this?
see. I think one, they gotta stop fucking naming everything a zombie fucking movie, because it's just because it's infected looking things doesn't make it a zombie movie. But I honestly, I liked it. I thought it was kind of cool. I watched it while I was sick during the pandemic, and I swear to you, the first time I had COVID, that's all I did. I sit down and watch movies about a pandemic. It's the greatest fucking thing. Impending doom the whole time, you know. But I don't think the acting was too bad for this film. For this film, it was nothing like I could be like, oh, you should get an award for. I mean, you know what I mean? It was nothing overly dramatic or nothing. I did like this cinematography with the drones and all that.
Yeah, like
that was kind of cool.
The film was shot competently. There were some really good shots. Were there opportunities for shots to be even better? Yes, 100%. Like that shot on the cliff would have been so much better if it was actually dark out and the only thing illuminating him was the lantern. But the acting was good. I think some of the situations he was in was fucking stupid and didn't make any sense. But again, this was shot in the middle of the pandemic with a very small crew and a very small budget. So
I still think people aren't as crazy as me and you.
Like me, for me, this is like a 3 out of 5. I would recommend people watch this. This is not a 4 out of 5 because there was nothing scary about this. There was
it wasn't that scary. It was more suspense, like a thriller,
and not even because like
I really wasn't that much. I mean, on top of it, you first shadowed everything. Once you said like the start of a scene, you're like, oh well, I know what's gonna happen at the end of the scene. Every fucking step of the way on this one, very predictable. That's a very predictable movie. It's like what's gonna happen.
I'm not giving you my blood until you give me this. Well, that's not gonna go over well. They don't give a shit.
The ultimatum, it's like.
But
how many times have you seen movies that's worked? Like,
So it's like this is definitely like a 3 out of 5 movie. If stuff, this is a definitely check this out. Like, don't pay for it.
Yeah, it's free.
Like, this is a watch it free on like Tubi where it is available. But it's definitely not a bad movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it though. That's the thing. I wouldn't buy it, but I've watched it like I said 10 times. I try to watch it before it leaves the app.
Yeah,
I try to get it in. Like Uncle Buck's leaving. I've been watching like Uncle Buck for no fucking reason.
But 3 out of 5 is not bad. It's a pretty middle of the road. It's okay,
no. Then I can agree that it is definitely a middle of the road.
It's definitely not a Gracefields incident. Because that's fucking awful.
Let me tell you, this season has made me appreciate the other fucking seasons we've had.
Yep. Well, hopefully...
But that's only because we're blind boxing this shit. Honestly, it's only because we're blind boxing it. If we actually weren't doing it for the season's it'd be different.
I have like a list of movies that like I wanna cover.
I know. I started making a list and I had to send it to you. Because when I had COVID a week or two ago, I just was watching like things for the cast and starting to slowly put them down. There's like 2 or 3 Nicolas Cage ones I want to fucking do. Dude, those movies are awesome.
But yeah, Eradication gets a 3 out of 5 from the Spooky Horror Show.
Fresh.
But again, thank you everybody very much for stopping by, and we will see all of you next time. Bye.
Haters.